Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 423. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today we've got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. Pretty good.
All right.
Can't complain. No complaints.
Nice.
I love October. It's like one of my favorite months.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
I've just been enjoying the Halloween festivities.
Wonderful.
This week on the show, we'll be reviewing Cosmic Dawn, which is currently streaming at the Night Stream Film Festival. We'll also be going over some we're watching on the watch list and going over this week's new releases in theaters and on VOD and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Please remember to review us on iTunes in a moment. That'd be very helpful. We are going to be recording the Halloween episode of Saved by the 90s this week, so prepare for that. We're going to be doing sci-fi horror this year. Yeah, got some exciting titles lined up for that. So stay tuned. I'll probably announce the release day for that next week on the show because I'll have a better idea at that point. So, all right, let's talk about Cosmic Dawn. As I mentioned, this is screening at the Night Stream Film Festival. It's a collaboration between the Boston Underground Film Festival, Brooklyn Horror Film Festival, North Bend Film Fest, and the Overlook Film Festival. You can get tickets. Everything is online, and the prices are very reasonable. So if you go to nightstream.org, you can check it out on there. I have a synopsis here. After witnessing the alien abduction of her mother as a child, Aurora joins the UFO cult, the Cosmic Dawn. Now moved on from the cult, Aurora is forced to confront her past and pursue the ultimate truth about the Cosmic Dawn. This is written and directed by Jefferson Maneo. Kevin, we'll start with you. What were your initial impressions of Cosmic Dawn?
Oh boy, Cosmic Dawn. I was pretty interested in this one. This one piqued my interest because of I like UFO cults. I like anything centered around UFOs. I'm in.
I like anything centered around cults. So
yeah, and you put it's a cult. It's a UFO cult. Come on now.
Great combo.
Come on.
It's like
give it to me.
It's like peanut butter and jelly right there.
It sure is. And I got to say that my interest being piqued was rewarded early on with the alien abduction scene that essentially kickstarts this movie, because I love the way in which it was shot. I love the visuals of it. It was visually arresting. I love the lights and like everything is just this like glimmering, like just light raining down in this remote area, and it looked fantastic. And I was like, all right, we are off on a good foot. All right, I am in. Let's do this. Now, the unfortunate thing about this movie is that I want to say middle third, but it seems like it takes up more of that. I don't think it's a third of the film. I think it's like 2/3 of the film that's nestled in the middle here, where really nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just unnecessarily going back like four years in the past and then in the present, and it's unnecessary. I'm not sure why they're doing it, because they're not really. I think this is the biggest issue for me, is that it seemed like they were trying to tease something out, but there was actually nothing to tease out. They were just obfuscating, they're just stalling essentially until the end. And like we were just doing nothing. We weren't developing any characters. We didn't get any real information about this cult outside of like, your witnesses. They're in the group. Okay, the Cosmic Dawn's coming. And like you learn nothing about them or the cult. Like they believe nothing.
Yeah, I had very similar opinions as you here. It starts off really intriguing. I mean, from the beginning, the opening moments, the abduction scene is great. I loved how like it looked like there were things like there was like smoke coming up off of like random things on the ground and stuff. And everything had this like pink purple sheen to it. It had almost like a Lovecraftian vibe. And I liked that, and I liked the setup, the introduction to the cult, all of that stuff. When she first went to like the compound and everything leading up to that, the weird face rock formation things, like all of that stuff is very intriguing. I think that one of the things that was a bit of a miss for me was the like non-linearity of it, where you jump forward 4 years and then you go back. Because when you do something like that, it's to build the mystery, it's to build the intrigue. Because you jump forward 4 years and it's like, oh, she's out of the cult. And I think that it's supposed to generate this intrigue where we're like, what happened? Like, was there a falling out? Like, you know, what caused this to transpire? But as you said, what ends up happening is not that interesting, at least to me. Like, I didn't feel like it went anywhere particularly compelling, and as a result, the build up with that non-linear method of storytelling just felt very lackluster and disappointing, because it sort of builds you up when you do that initial jump where it goes ahead 4 years. You start, you know, trying to fit together what happened in your mind and making predictions and stuff like that. And unfortunately, what actually transpired is just not anywhere close to like the crazy shit that I had going on in my head.
Yeah.
And so for me, it pretty much lost me at maybe even before the 1 hour mark, maybe like after the first like 30 minutes or so, like shortly after she got to the compound.
Yeah.
After that, it started losing me, and it just never really regained my interest, unfortunately. Even in the end, you know, when the big reveals happen and stuff, like, it wasn't that big of a revelation to me. Like, I wasn't like, whoa. Mm-hmm. You know, like, yeah. It was exactly kind of what I expected it to be. Now, there was like one kind of weird thing that happens. So Joshua Burge is in this. I didn't even know he was in this, but
yeah, me either.
There's something that happens with his character at the end. I'm not going to spoil anything, but what happens with his character at the very end, I found to be very confusing. Like, what? And
yeah,
I didn't feel like that was really explained. It wasn't explained at all, but like, I didn't feel like that was a justified conclusion for him.
No, and it doesn't, like, it kind of undercuts everything that happened before.
Exactly.
You know, like the 4 year, like what
exactly.
Such a roundabout way of doing.
Yeah, like it felt really weird. Like, I don't know. And also just the whole general cult thing. Like, this movie is not, it doesn't feel like it really has much to say in the way of like cults. It plays into the cults, like all of the, you know, standard bullet points that encompass a cult. It's all here. Like, everything from like, they're all wearing like the same kind of outfits to like the trainers to the weird rituals and stuff like that. Like, all of those bullet points are here, but where it goes, it doesn't seem like it actually has anything to say regarding cults at all to me.
No. I don't feel this movie's trying to be a commentary on anything, which is good, because they would have failed miserably at that, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean,
if it even attempted it, because I mean, just attempting to be like an entertaining story, it doesn't do a good job. So
no, and I don't know how you could possibly end it the way you did, and still try to shoehorn in some kind of commentary about cults and stuff like that. I mean, the one thing I guess you could say is that oftentimes the people that are most susceptible to joining cults are people who have experienced some loss in their lives, and people who are just looking for answers, looking for something, you know, something missing in their lives, and that's exactly what happens in this with the character of Aurora, but it's not anything that's like really explored too much, and I don't think anything's really explored that much.
No,
Even like this,
nothing's
even like the surface level alien abduction stuff just feels
and
very surface level.
that's the thing that really disappointed me and really upset me because I think I was about like 35 minutes into this, and that's when I started to feel my interest waning because I started realizing, and then I saw how far I have made it into it so far, and I'm like, okay, I am like a third of the way into this thing, just about, and I've gotten like no information. We haven't developed anything. We haven't really developed or explored the genesis of this cult or the beliefs of this cult or like really anything. Everything is extremely surface level, just like a rough outline, just bullet points. And it becomes very apparent that that's not going to happen. Is there is a large portion of this movie, or like one of the biggest scenes and the longest lasting scene, which is them just singing a song and dancing, and a guy on keyboards, and drums come out of nowhere. No one's playing drums, but they show up somehow. I don't know. This must be a cosmic thing, and like that just happens for a long time, and it's just like no, why are you doing this?
I
Like you don't get this. You have to give me something before you try and do this.
I also must say that I did not like the production design, like the aesthetic of the compound itself. It looked very like set, like like a sound stage to me. Like everything
Yeah.
looked like all the plants looked fake, and all of the sets looked like everything was made out of styrofoam to me. Like it looked unrealistic and slightly cheap.
Yeah, just kind of glorified
So
cubicles.
unfortunately, I wasn't really into the design of the compound itself either. So yeah, unfortunately, this just wasn't. It just really wasn't for me. I didn't particularly find the cult leader Elise. Didn't find her very interesting either. Like I just kind of found her annoying.
Yeah, there's just like that intrigue just completely disappears, just dries up
And I think
within like
another
15 minutes.
yeah, I think another part of that is just because it's such a generic cult at the end of the day. Like
Mhm.
it's nothing we haven't seen before, even in real life. Like, like the Heaven's Gate cult. I mean, it seems like at least some aspects of this were modeled after that. And I mean, that was a real life cult. And that was way crazier than this.
Yeah. I think a big thing too is like you said with the ending. I think for me, yeah, it was disappointing because it didn't really get crazier than what I was hoping for. Um, but the way that it does play out, there was a part of me that was like, yeah, you better end your movie that way, because if you didn't, I would be
Oh, it'd be
pissed off.
so much worse.
It's just like I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's right. You better at least give me that. So it wasn't even a matter of me being like, oh, I'm surprised. I was just kind of like, you can't end this movie
Well,
any other way.
yeah.
If you're not going to do something wild, you got to at least do this. So do the bare minimum, which they did. So, okay, I give you a little golf clap, and then I turn off my computer and go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I just was not. It was disappointing. Just because I think it did start off pretty strong. So
It's funny because one of the reasons I picked this movie is because my wife is really into UFO cults, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll watch this." And I think she made it 20 minutes, and then she just turned to me and she's like, I'm gonna stop, and I'm just gonna read, okay?"
I'm just
And
gonna.
I was like, oh, that's a bummer. And then like 10 minutes later, I just looked over at her and I was like, you made the right
Yeah,
choice.
she made the right choice. All right, let's go ahead and give Cosmic Dawn a score. What are you gonna give it out of 10?
I give it like a 3, 2.5, maybe.
Hmm. I'm sitting at a uh 2. Yeah, 2
Yeah,
on this one.
yeah.
2.5, somewhere around there. It's just, yeah. I don't know. I think the strong opener is what really soured me on it. Like, I think that if it was like boring and
Yeah.
generic from the
I,
beginning, I think maybe I would have been a little bit more lenient on it. But the fact that it does open strong made it
and could you
hurt.
imagine
Made it
that?
hurt
Yeah,
worse.
because you kind of had like a sliver of an expectation, like, oh, this might surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
This might surprise me, and this is like the complete opposite of a movie like Hellbender, where like you don't have to have a big budget to do like good world building, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh
just
yeah.
you have to be well thought out, like carefully crafted and everything. It's just
Uh,
attention to detail. This has nothing. They're just
yeah.
like, okay, it's a cult. There we go.
It's so funny that we just did Hellbender last week because the two movies are just night and day. Like the the fact that like you would think that a movie like this would have more world building in it because it feels like it's a larger scale movie, but at the same time it's like far less thought out than something like Hellbender, which they like went above and beyond with crafting that world.
Yeah, and I think this brings me back to the thing that I've brought up in the last couple episodes. Is it better than an episode of X Files? Not even close. Like
No.
you could just pick a random X Files episode, even one with Agent Doggett. You could pick one of those, and it'd still be better. And those are not good.
No. All right. Well, that's Cosmic Dawn. If you want to check it out, it's on Nightstream. I think that it's still available. I'm not sure actually how the how that works with the streaming schedule. All right, let's take a look at some of what we're watching on the watch list. Kevin, I believe it is your turn to kick us off this week.
Oh, kept it going with the UFOs and aliens. And I finally watched Signs.
Ah, a little Shyamalan
And
action.
yeah, little M. Night Shyamalan. This is on Hulu.
You know what? I have a confession. I've never seen this movie.
Me either. I've never seen it. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'll watch Signs. Like, I wanted to see this when it came out, but for whatever reason, I just didn't. And then I never got around to it,
Same.
oddly enough,
I mean,
until
I
now.
always heard good things, but I just haven't. Yeah, haven't seen it.
I, I also didn't realize that this is his second movie. I did not know that. I thought this was later.
I thought it was after Unbreakable, but
That's what I thought too. But
interesting.
um, so I got to say this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. It's got the right amount of the hokiness. Like he has the hokiness there, but it never goes overboard. And there's just enough comedy, like lightheartedness to it. The way in which he teases out the aliens, superb job. You get like a little glimpse one time where it's just like a shape, really. It just lets you know that okay, something going on, and lets your imagination do the rest. Of course, there's the big reveal, which is really kind of striking and creepy. The only thing that's kind of a bummer is that at the end there's the full on like face to face encounter,
Mm-hmm.
and it's done with CGI,
Mm.
and it's 2002,
2000, yeah.
and it doesn't look good. Like it aged terribly, and it just makes me think of like, especially a movie like this where really the only special effects that you need to do are the creatures. Like they don't do anything else. I mean, they have some crop circles, but you just push over some corn. That's it. There's nothing else, right? So why and like the aliens that are in this movie aren't like crazy or anything. Like just put a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
I don't just put a dude in a suit. I don't understand. It's definitely gonna age better. You make a green suit,
Yeah, but I
zip
guess
it up.
the whole thing is like that time during the early 2000s, I think is when things started going really CG heavy.
But it's
So,
just I think the thing that gets me looking back that I find really intriguing. And I would like to see if there is like a documentary on like the history of CGI effects and everything. Because like in the instance of this movie is the alien doesn't do anything crazy. Like the alien just stands there. And it's like if you're going to use CGI, wouldn't you be utilizing this new technology to just unleash your imagination and just come up with crazy characters doing crazy things,
Mm-hmm.
just things that people can't do? But no, you just create a green dude that just stands there. That's it. That's all.
Stands there like a
That's all.
dingus.
It's just that's all you utilized this technology for, was to create a green dude that stands there for a little bit. That's it. Like, come on. But other than that, I mean, it's a great movie. I really liked it. And I mean, you got a crazy cast here. You got Mel Gibson, you got Joaquin Phoenix, you got Rory Culkin, Abigail Breslin. I mean,
Yeah.
all early role. Michael Showalter's in here for a little bit,
Mm. Nice.
which was something.
Cool. And that's Signs. So if you haven't seen that yet, check it out. So I mostly have been watching stuff in preparation for Saved by the 90s this week. There's a couple movies that we're covering that had multiple entries in the series. And if you've heard that show, you know that I like to try to watch everything in a series. So I've been cranking out a lot of sequels and stuff this week. But there's a couple things that I can mention here that I've been catching at some of these horror film festivals. One is Baby Assassins. This is a Japanese film directed by Yugo Sakamoto. This isn't a horror film, but it's an action movie. Baby Assassins is such a dumb title for this because it doesn't really represent the movie at all, and I think that it's more of like a translation thing than anything. What you actually have here is these two girls who are in high school, and they're both assassins, and they graduate high school, and the company that they work for tells them, like, okay, look, you're high school graduates now, you guys have to get jobs like as a cover, and you have to move in together. We're going to get you an apartment, you need to become roommates, socialize yourselves more, try to be normal people, even though you're these like highly skilled deadly assassins. So what you have here is an action comedy about these two women who are just trying to live normal lives while at the same time being these ruthless killers. And it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's really goofy, but the action is like surprisingly top notch. Really good action. It's bloody. It's lots of hand-to-hand combat, shootouts, all of that stuff, but there's a lot of humor in it as well. So I can definitely recommend Baby Assassins whenever it may come out. Hopefully it'll be out sometime soon.
I was hoping for more with that title, to be honest.
You were hoping that it would actually be like little babies, like infants.
I think either way that it could go, the possibilities were both wild to me, in the sense that it's either little babies that are assassins because they have the perfect cover, they're so damn cute, you wouldn't see it coming, or it's someone that just assassinates babies, which is also insane. Both of those are just completely batshit insane ideas.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like that's what it is.
No, but it's good. It's good nonetheless. There is that, if you do want to see one, there's that Russian one where it's like I can't remember the name. I think it's called Baby Cop or something, where it's about a detective, this like grizzled detective who gets put into the body of a baby and he has to like figure out how to get back. What was the name of it? I saw that at like Fantastic Fest or something like a couple years ago. And I don't know if it ever came out in the US.
Wow.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was Russian and it was like Baby Cop or something.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it was funny.
The The only other thing I watched, which is this was actually a while ago, but I forgot to talk about it, and that's 30 Days of Night.
Oh, okay.
The Josh Hartnett vehicle from 2007, directed by David Slade.
So I'm a huge fan of the comic book series. I loved the comics. I thought they were incredible.
Okay. Now, I will say, from the outset, this is a phenomenal idea. And unless I'm wrong, and it has been done before, it seems kind of odd that it took this long to kind of put vampires in an area where, like this, where it's an isolated Alaskan town that's plunged into darkness for an entire month. You know, the sun never. It's like, that's just a great idea. You got vampires here, and they come in and they set everything up in terms of like cutting down communication and everything. That they kind of trap them in the town, like they're ready to go. One of the first things about this movie that's just unnecessary, just uncalled for. It's 113 minutes long. It's just, no one needs that much Josh Hartnett. That's just too much. And there's no sense of time in it. Like, it's really bizarre where everything feels like it's happening over the course of like 2 days, but throughout they'll just throw in a title and be like 17 days later. And you're like, oh, what? Are you serious? Like, in this scene beforehand, another thing that's just very bizarre about these vampires is they have like no portion control. Like, there's a sequence where they're literally killing like the entire town just over the course of one day or night. Who knows? Because there's no sun. They're just murdering everyone. It's a montage sequence, of course, overhead shots and everything. They're just running through the streets, just murdering everyone. They killed like 60 people. And it's like, why wouldn't you try and stretch that out over the course of a month instead of killing 60 people in the course of one day? Seems a bit much. But, I mean, it has its moments, but there's never really any... Like, the atmosphere of this is just... that, like, you know that they're coming. Like, nothing's teased out. You know the vampires are coming. The vampires come, you see them, they murder a shit ton of people. And then, like, a lot of it's just sitting around with Josh Hartnett and the other members of the town, like the last, like, 7 or 8 of them, just, like, waiting it out and trying to, like, you know, put together a plan. But there's really... there's no tension. There's no nothing. But it does end with someone getting a fist completely through the front and the back of their skull. Just punched completely straight through. Which I laughed out loud for a long time. I lost my composure, actually. Like, it was just so ridiculous that I loved it. I kind of admired it. I just want that to happen more. I just want ridiculous things to happen more often in movies. So I give it a little bit for that. But overall, I can't really recommend it.
All right. That is 30 Days of Night. Looks like that's on a bunch of different platforms. Hulu, Peacock, Vudu, Amazon, YouTube.
Tubi?
Doesn't say Tubi on here, but I don't know, maybe.
It's also on Pluto TV.
Oh yeah, Pluto TV. Check it out on Pluto.
What the fuck is Pluto TV?
I don't know.
Do you know?
No, I don't know. All right, the last one I'll mention is one called There's Someone Inside Your House. I caught this at Fantastic Fest, but this is actually on Netflix right now, so it is a Netflix movie.
I just literally learned about this a second before we started recording.
It's directed by Patrick Bryce. This is he's the guy who did Creep and Creep 2, which I liked both, Creep and Creep 2. This one is a teen slasher, and it's a very, very conventional teen slasher. So it's almost as if Bryce was trying to just make a modern teen slasher that contains all of those tropes, but sort of bring it into the 21st century and make it more socially acceptable as far as like the content. You know, like when you see 80s slasher movies, it's like, oh yeah, that is definitely the 80s. And I feel like you don't have that many slasher movies that represent this time period. And maybe that's something that you don't really recognize until like 10 or more years later. But I feel like this movie is going to be one of those movies where when you watch it, you're just like, oh yeah, that was definitely a 2021 movie. Just because of the socio-political landscape of things in this movie. With that being said, it is a very standard slasher movie. There's not a lot of unique elements here, and even though it has a really cool title, I was a little bit disappointed because they're really, like, most of the kills don't happen inside someone's house. A lot of them happen at a high school. There's like one scene where the killer's inside the house, so that's a little disappointing. The interesting, like, the hook with this is that the killer wears a mask of the person that he's killing. So if he's going after Kevin Rakestraw, he's wearing a Kevin Rakestraw mask so that you can basically look at yourself as you're being killed, your true self. And the whole point of it is, like, you know, these people, all the people that he's targeting have secrets, and they're all wearing their own masks in the world because they're hiding their true selves or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, question to you, and I pose this to you, put you in this situation. You see a person wearing a mask that's your face. What are you doing?
I'm getting out of there.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is,
just like, this is insane. It's not going to end well in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. To give credit to the victims of this movie, most of them, as soon as they see the killer wearing their face, they do get the hell out of there. Or they try to, at least. The kills are not very inventive or anything like that. They're all pretty standard. They're fine. They're all just, like, kind of serviceable slasher kills. Interestingly, one of them happens, like, at a party, like, in the middle of the party, which is kind of cool. Like, there's not like this killer's pretty brazen. Like, he or she doesn't care.
Yeah. But
at any rate, I can only give it a very, very light recommend. I thought that it was fairly mediocre. I think that if you're looking for, like, new horror movies to watch this Halloween, I think that this is going to be pretty low on the list of recommendations, just because there's a lot of other stuff out there that I think is more interesting than this.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I should be able to maybe squeeze in some more since they took Perfect Strangers off of Hulu.
Did they?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. We got Halloween Kills. That's the big one.
Oh, yeah.
You excited for this?
I wouldn't say excited. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but I can't say that I'm overly excited.
Okay. Are you planning on going to see this in the theater?
No.
Okay.
No theaters. I'm not doing theaters for... the only thing I said I would do theaters for is for Dune. So I just got to do Dune. The COVID landscape. I'll just hang out at home or
understandable.
Outside. You know?
Yeah, completely understandable. I am planning on seeing Halloween Kills in the theater, so excited for that. I'll report back on it next week. We got The Last Duel coming out also. This is the one with, like, Matt Damon and Adam Driver and Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The period
I have
piece.
never heard of this. It's a Ridley Scott movie, too.
Ridley Scott.
I have not heard of this. This is happening a lot.
It's weird times. It's definitely weird times. I didn't know that this was... I was aware of this, but I didn't know it was coming out next week. So that's a surprise. All right. What do we have on VOD this week? We're looking at the 12th, The Invisible Mother. What is this? Tells the story of a lesbian stoner and her grandparents being tormented by the psychedelic spirits of an old photo album. All right.
Interesting.
Got Convergence on Netflix. Epic collaboration that spans 8 countries and 9 individual stories.
Whoa.
We have Spirit Quest. Looks like some kind of comedy, maybe.
Hmm.
We have The Cleaner. That's maybe a thriller.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looks like a crime thriller.
Hmm.
Looks like Luke Wilson's in it.
Yeah, well, okay.
We have On the Fringe of Wild. That's a terrible name.
Hmm.
Looks like maybe it's a, I don't know, coming of age story maybe. We have Lust, Life, Love. Ah, God. That is a terrible title too. Lust, Life, Love.
Come on,
Give me a
guys.
break. Killing Eleanor. We have on the 13th, Fever Dream on Netflix. And then on the 15th, we have Hard Luck Love Song. Held for Ransom. The Grand Duke of Corsica. The Blazing World. Needle in a Time Stack. Oh my God. What is up with these titles today? Needle in a Time Stack.
You said needle and I gotta look this up.
Needle in a...
and a
Yep.
needle and a time stack.
Sci-fi.
It doesn't come up. Is time stack one word? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
one word. One
Okay.
word. Mm-hmm.
John Ridley.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom, Frida Pinto.
Cynthia. Leslie Odom. Okay.
Needle in a Time Stack.
But oh my god, a devoted husband will stop at nothing to save his marriage when it's destroyed by a time traveling rival.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that one.
There's a guy, I'm guessing Orlando Bloom, maybe, using time travel to go back, or in the future, I don't know. I don't know if he's going back or if he's going forward to steal a guy's wife.
Yeah, it looks like
that's what it sounds like to me.
He's an ex-husband, so
wow.
Orlando Bloom's an ex-husband who's warping time
to try and get his ex-wife back. He's okay. Wow.
Can love endure in a future where time is fluid and all of life may just be an illusion?
Wow. And I love that the tagline is love is drawn in the form of a circle.
Yeah. Oh, God damn it. All right. Demigod is coming out. It's a horror movie. We got Grave Intentions, 7 directors, 5 tales of terror, 1 grave lesson.
I'm sorry. I just remembered Time Stack and started laughing.
Oh boy, you know someone like thought that they were really clever coming up with that. Instead of guys, instead of needle in a haystack, what if? Now hear me out. Hear me out. Time stack. Needle in a time stack.
They're the only person that likes it. I have a feeling that every other person is just like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess.
It would be funny if they heard the pitch, they thought it was so bad that they were just like, fuck it, let's just do it. And it's just a giant troll. Like, it's just because they knew that everybody would make fun of the title, and the person that came up with it is like a big dick or something, like in the office, like nobody likes him or whatever, and it was all just a big goof. Like, they knew that people were going to make fun of that title.
Perhaps.
Anyway, Slumber Party Massacre is also going to be coming out on Sci-Fi. That's a remake of the 80s flick, which I'm a huge fan of the original Slumber Party Massacre, so I'm going to give this one a look because I caught the trailer and it actually looks pretty decent, so I'll be checking that one out. On Blu-ray this week, we have Misery coming out in 4K. We got Legend, the 1985 fantasy film. That's coming out on Arrow. It's going to be a limited edition. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a typical Arrow release, but a cool one nonetheless. We have The Green Knight coming out. That's going to be in like all the different editions. There's a Steelbook, 4K, regular, whatever. Carlito's Way is coming out on 4K. We got Free Guy coming out. That's the one with Ryan Reynolds. Deadly Fiend from 1986. Inglourious Bastards is coming out on 4K. That's going to be some sort of limited edition Steelbook. Let's see what else we got here. The Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch from from 1968. That's going to be on Arrow. There's an Friday the 13th 8-movie collection.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I have a feeling. So this... Oh yeah, we talked about this before, actually. This one is the one that does not include Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell, or Freddy versus Jason, or the remake, I don't think. So forget that. All right, what else we have here? 99.9 Frequency of Terror from 1997.
It is the most terrifying frequency.
I think that the most terrifying frequency is 98.5 WYCR, the pop music station in York.
Could very well be.
What was the other one? 105.7 The X.
Yeah, there you go. That's
the most terrifying. Like remember it used to be called The Edge, and then they changed it to The X?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
God, the random shit that I remember.
Yep. That's good, and that's the funny thing is that's going to stay with you forever.
Yeah, it will.
You're going to be in a goddamn nursing home, 97 years old.
I'm not going to remember my family.
Be able to say, you can be like, "Can you turn on 105.7 The X?" And the person working there is going, "I have no fucking idea what he's talking about."
Oh God, I wonder if that. I mean, I guess it's probably still on the air, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, what do they like? What kind of music do they play on there? I wonder.
The same that they've always played.
Live. Alice in Chains and live.
Yeah, and like Disturbed and Stained.
Puddle of Mud.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Nice. All right. Oh,
right now
man.
they're playing Main Skin. I want to be your slave.
Oh, nice. Anyway, we have Survive the Game. That's the one with Bruce Willis that came out on VOD last week. We got Youth in Revolt from 2009. That's pretty much it. What about Criterion's?
Oh, we got one, and that's High Sierra from 1941. Ida Lupino and Humphrey Bogart.
Classic. I would assume. I don't know. I never saw it.
It sounds pretty good. He's Humphrey Bogart. He's a career criminal, and he just wants to settle down. But he decides to get together with a group for one last heist in the Sierra Nevada. Oh boy, just one last go.
So it's always what it is, and I bet things go horribly awry.
You know it.
All right, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @filmpulsenet and @filmpulsekevin. And if you have a minute, consider reviewing us on iTunes. That would be extremely helpful. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.